Welcome to Chit Chat That. I can't even do a deep voice. My voice is always going to be troll-like. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Chit Chat That. I am Stephen Mitchell.
And I'm John Kunzler.
And today we're going over some polls that we've been doing lately.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter, yeah. It's the
We're tweeting it on the Twitter.
Official one. It's the official Twitter. But yeah, we've been going over some polls for our TV show tournament. We've been going through the different networks and the different shows on each network to see what people prefer and think is the best.
Yeah, so the way I because I've been setting up the brackets, so I'll go in and get a list of all the TV shows that have been on a network, and I'll categorize them. And so there's like sitcoms versus documentaries versus like dramas. Like there's a lot of different categories. So I say all of Fox, and I'll separate them out, and then they'll all go into like the final four of Fox, and so they'll all be in a different category. And then I'll take that final four, and it's going to go into the final bracket, and that's where Fox is going to go head to head with NBC, HBO, Netflix, Amazon Prime, AMC, FX, tons of different ones. So there'll be a lot of brackets coming up. Some of them won't be long enough. I think most of these are about like 64 different shows. When we get to like Amazon Prime, we probably won't be able to find 64 shows.
No, at least not ones that people would want to watch.
Yeah, we'll get to like every show ever on there. But I try to pick out ones that are really popular, and we can kind of go for there. I usually do shows that are more than one season, unless they were a pretty big one season, like Firefly. That one has a pretty big following, but it was only on for one season. So I kind of take that in mind, but I'm excited. It's fun to see who's going to win. There's already been some upsets. We've gotten through Fox, and we're starting through HBO right now.
Did we have some comments of people being upset with different things going on?
No comments of being upset, but I've been personally hurt.
You
from
were
some people. I'm like, why
hurt?
aren't they voting for my show? But there's nothing I can do. If there's a tie, I'll just send my show through. I guess it just takes too long to do a tiebreaker, but
yeah, tiebreakers. We're just going straight, man. We're not messing with tiebreakers. It's like tie goes to us. We just choose. That's how it works.
I could put more thought into my brackets because there's some sides that are like really weak. Like there's not that many popular shows, and then I have some that right out of the gate, it's people like 4 really good shows. Yeah.
Well, you can already tell by which network has which good shows.
Yeah, I did the HBO bracket, and it's really hard to make all the decisions because they have a lot of good shows that have been on there and that are currently running, and a lot of their shows have big name people. And
haven't a lot of HBO shows always carried that like quality?
I think so.
Kind of thing. Like
I think
always
if
went
HBO,
that direction.
it's going to be on HBO, you can almost say it's going to be good.
Well, because they've always, like before all the streaming services and stuff, they were always the one that you'd have to pay for because a lot of their content I think was exceptional. Compared to a lot of the networks that were just came with cable, like default. HBO was always an extra, and I think their premium payment kind of showed in their TV choices.
And definitely, if you look at like lists of like some of the best TV shows of all time, like HBO's, they're gonna have a program in like the top 5 of any that you look at.
Yeah, they weren't very kid friendly.
No, they did just buy out like Sesame Street though.
I heard about that. They were trying to reach the younger audiences,
and I think like they're. I was looking at their programming, and they have a lot coming up and that are on right now that are kid shows.
But could you imagine that?
I think with their app, they're trying to get like a kid.
You're sitting there as a kid. Sesame Street. Here's 1, 2, 3. Now we'll go to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mommy, look what I learned.
Yeah. That'll be like hard for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to transition, but I guess if they're going to try it.
No, I think it'd be cool if we get some upgraded TV shows for kids.
Upgraded?
Because I have to watch them because my kids are watching them, and so if they stink, like
Elmo's trying to steal Big Bird's throne. It's like
I'm sure you have plenty of shows that your kids watch that just drive you nuts.
Oh yeah,
pretty much everything on YouTube Kids. Like everyone will film like their own family, or they'll film themselves playing with toys, and my kids love watching it. And I was like, why don't you just play with your own toys? Why are you just watching some kid play with their doll? There's some 45-year-old single woman playing with dolls.
Well, that was something interesting that I noticed too. Was there are a lot of junky kid shows on YouTube, but there was one Super Simple Songs, I think it's called. That one actually isn't too bad. Like it's usually they just do a single video to a song and that's it. And they're usually pretty good. Like they're short, they're catchy. They've definitely gotten better over the years because if you look at their earliest videos, they weren't that great. But their production values went a lot better, and they've got a lot of different styles.
That was my phone.
Are you sure?
I tweeted somebody because they're not on Twitter, so I text them one of our polls, and she just voted on which one she would pick.
Oh.
And I could have guessed. I didn't even need to ask her. I'm still trying to get her on the podcast.
Oh, who is this?
Ashley.
Is she working now, or should we just try and call her
and just say, "Hey, are you ready?" And we'll go over all the ones.
We could totally do that.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna have to hold something against her, like.
I think that's the only way we're gonna get.
Call in a favor, people. Yeah, because she would be really good. She's really good with TV.
Yeah,
that's like her hobby, I'd say.
She also reads a lot, though, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so a lot of the TV shows that used to be books. She's read the books to them, and
yeah, I think she's read all the Game of Thrones, that's quite the challenge. I hear there's a lot of books in there, or is there only a few?
There's a lot. Again, the books are big too.
Ooh. But
the story is incredible. So
that'd
be something I actually may read. I won't, but I could say I may. I don't read.
Yeah, I'm like my hats off to those people who can sit through a novel that's like, longer than 20 pages. I can't really. There's just not enough.
My attention span's not long enough.
Yeah, I can't find a thing that's, keeps me into it enough to follow. I'm pretty quick to, after the first page or two, that just kind of shut the book and be like, I'm done.
If the book was really funny, I might be able to, or if it was really exciting. I remember because you'd have to read enough of a book in order to pass a book report.
Yeah.
And so I'd always do Louis L'Amour books, and they're all Westerns. They're all pretty much the same plot line, so you can almost guess what's going to happen. But I'd read those, and I could read a couple chapters enough to get the report.
Yeah,
to read the first chapter.
That's where he does this.
A chapter in the middle and a chapter at the end.
Find a book that follows a formula and just
focus on that. That way, when you're doing your body of paragraphs, you have your intro.
Yeah,
that's the first.
These are the characters.
This is the three in the middle. Is the middle chapter, and then
Well, and were your book reports the kind where they weren't supposed to give away the ending, or were you supposed to just tell about the whole book?
We just described the book and how it made us feel.
So you just so it'd be pretty easy.
So I describe my feelings a lot.
Yeah, it's just because I don't know if you're supposed to spoil them on book reports. I don't think we were supposed to. I think some kids did. They just say, and that's what happens. And it's like, well, I don't need to read that anymore. Thanks, man.
I would rather read the book report than the book.
I think I would for some of them because
you're like, oh, that's a good story. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll read a little bit more, or wait until they become a movie.
Yeah, there you go. It's the movies.
But would you rather write an essay in a class or take a test?
I think I would rather write an essay.
Me too. Some people are like, oh, you have to do so much more work to write an essay, and I was like, no, I could BS most of it.
Yeah, well, and that's what I think they expect you to do. Because I remember the one time I was using long quotes in a research paper.
Yeah, that was my trick.
It didn't work at all.
You get better indentation.
Yeah, it's you sit there and you try. I tried to fill up my whole page that way, and my teacher turned it back to me. He was like, I want you to do more of your own words. I'm like, dang it, but they said it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's why should I rewrite what they already wrote? That seems kind of counterproductive.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was how a lot of that went with me. Not to mention with I'm trying to think, because if you do a multiple choice test, those ones are pretty. At least you have a 1 out of 4 chance, maybe, depending on how many choices they give you.
See,
True or false are the worst for me. because my problem is I read it like a statement. I'm like, okay. So it's like, I don't know if it's true or false. It's just like, you read it, and you're like, sure. I'm not going to...
I can
That's my
talk
problem. I don't
myself
question
into
it.
the wrong answer really easily. Whereas I feel like you can know 99% of that topic and they ask you a question, but you can still pick the wrong answer. Whereas if I know 99% of the topic, I can fill in a right in answer. So I feel like...
Yeah, and have a lot of the...
It was more to like actually what you knew rather than just randomly being able to answer this. Because in pharmacy school, they try to get ready for like the tests you take to become certified. So they're the ones where it's like, here's 4 statements, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then A is like 1 and 3 are true. B is like 1 and 4 are true. And then the other one's like 2 and 4 are true. Like, I hate those ones.
Those ones are annoying because when there's more than one right answer.
Select the most correct answer, and you're like, most correct?
My teacher is really bad at that right now. Like, he does that where he's like, we select one, it's like, well, that one works. He's like, well, technically this one's better. And it's like, that sounds like a personal opinion to me.
Yeah, it's like, killing is A, bad, B, immoral, C, illegal. And you're like, it's all of those. It's like, but pick the most correct one. Yeah. And you're like...
It's like, if it's an ethics class, maybe it's moral.
There's fact and fiction. It's fact. Like,
yeah, either way. I don't like it when they do that. Mm-hmm. I just got a grade back from a group paper, actually, that we got a pretty low score. And we're like, why? And our other people in my group emailed him. Mm-hmm. Then he sent out an email to all of us. He's like, I've been getting inquiries of why your score was the way it was. And then he pretty much bullet pointed why he didn't like it. And a lot of it was just the formatting. Like, I was kind of still upset at his decision. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, the assignment was for us to do research on a product or whatever, and we did that. We wrote it all down. We gave it to him. We put it all in the paper. And he still went through and was like, it just doesn't look good. I'm like, does it matter? The information's freaking there. Mm-hmm. You can look it over. It's like, anyway, it's like, and if that was your big beef, it's like, I don't think it was, constituted for losing like almost half of the credit. I'm like, was only half of the assignment to find the,
correct format?
Well, or to get the data, because to get all the data that we were supposed to analyze, and, we got it all, we analyzed it, we got a conclusion, but he went through and was like, he just dinged us like half our points for that. And I'm looking at him like, so you're telling me I want to go to class and talk about this. Like, you're telling me if we didn't do any of the data, didn't gather anything, but gave you a really pretty document that said we did nothing, we would have gotten like the same score. Uh-huh. Like, if we just did nothing but gave him a pretty picture and a, well-crafted looking document that just was a bunch of BS. And I'm looking at like, that seems pretty harsh. Like, maybe, a quarter of our report should be that, because there's like several set. Anyway,
did he give you guys like a set guideline of what he wanted it to look like, or?
Not really. Because what he does, since it's a marketing research class, he's like, you're marketers, just make it look good. There's no real format to it. He just wants it to look good. And I'm like, okay. And I thought it looked okay. I don't know if it was like a Nobel Prize winning
welcome to marketing.
Creativity.
You have to make them happy.
Yeah, well, really, yeah. I'm like, and he's like, I wanted to wait till class, but since a lot of you have been emailing me about it, and then he wrote out his thing. But I'm like, I want to at least, I think we could get better than, a D- or I'm like, that's pretty low, dude. And pretty harsh considering we still got all the information part. You just weren't happy with the look of it.
I had a stats class like that. The only non-A I got, and it was an A- in a math class ever, was in statistics, because on one test, you're supposed to write the answer, like the proportion of blah, 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 blah. I spelled proportion wrong throughout every single question. And it was like worth 5 points. And it was -3 for every time I misspelled it. Oh. And I was like, this isn't spelling. And she's like, well, when we were doing this, it's spelled like this. And I was like, well, yeah, I can see like -3 on the first one, and then like just underline it for all the other ones.
Yeah, save future reference.
But like every single, like all the math was correct. And so you missed 3/5 of the test. So I got like a 40%.
That is so
bogus.
ridiculous. Yeah, and those kind of things are just, again, those feel very personal preference. So it's like, if this was any other teacher, they would have been, no big deal. And some teachers are like, this is a big deal. And you're like, how can it be a big deal? Either it is or it isn't. I don't like all these, each teacher has a curriculum they're supposed to teach from, and that's great, and that helps, but they still all have their own biases on that curriculum. So it's like, even though there's a standard, that standard is still skewed depending on the teacher you get. And it makes, it's funny because teachers go, I don't understand why students look for like certain teachers. It's like, because you're all freaking different. And
yeah, you find one that fits you, or you're just like, I don't want to have a really hard class that doesn't teach me anything. Because like, I've had really easy classes where you learn a lot, and then like it's like an easy A class. But I come out with more than like that really hard class where it's like, I could never find what they wanted. I don't understand the material any better or any worse. I couldn't please them.
I have one of each of those classes. One with the marketing research, that one with his sometimes it seems like you're doing good, and then all of a sudden you'll just get dinged real hard for something that you don't feel it stressed enough in class. Then I have another class where the teacher doesn't teach in class. She spends half her time talking about the AMA club because she's the head of it and wants everyone to join. And then she sends us on our way to do these assignments, and I have no idea how to do them. She doesn't really go over how to do them. She just says, we want this, want that, and that's what you need to turn in the end of this week. We're like, oh, crap. We have no idea what we're doing. And, it shows in our work a lot of times. Thankfully, she's not too hard of a grader typically. Like, as long as you do one thing that she looks for, which we learned after one assignment. I was like, oh, that's what she looks for. So everything we did after that was exactly what she wanted. And we haven't had a problem since, even though the stuff we turn in my opinion, just isn't that great. And I'm like, I have no idea. And everyone in my group in that class feels the same way, where they're all saying, I have learned absolutely nothing in this class, but I have had to work harder in this class than any other classes I'm in right now, because it's just so much busy work. Where it's like, I'm not learning anything, but boy, I'm exhausted. And it's a waste. Well, it feels like a waste. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some benefit, but I have yet to see it or find it.
I'm not a fan of busy work. So I'm like a preceptor. None of my projects are busy work. I was like, you can go home and just do something else with your time. I'm not going to give you something to just waste it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give them projects, but all those projects have like a purpose behind it. So it's like, oh, you really need to learn, all the different vaccines better. So I'll like give them a project where they go over all the vaccines and tips and how to give them and different highlights from it. I'm not just going to say, hey, do that. And they're like, I already know vaccines. I'll be like, okay, then you don't need to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Some things just, I don't know what to do. What do you do with that? Anyway, I guess the next thing you could do,
find a different teacher. Retake the class.
Oh, I don't want to retake it. That's the thing. I think
most people just bear down and get through it.
Yeah. Well, when
go to the next one, hopefully I don't need to learn anything from this that gets me in the next class.
Well, when this is my final semester, it's like, I better just pass, because that's all I need to do. And then I won't have to retake anything. So anyway, that's my plan with that class, where it's like, I'll just finish it out, take whatever he gives me as long as it's passing grade, and call it good.
Awesome. So the tournament.
Yes, back to that.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
When school sucks, you watch TV, and that's what we're going to do.
But it's going to be a while. This is going to be like months of polls, daily polls on Twitter, because there's so many different TV shows and so many different...
that was me. Excuse me.
Whoa. So many different networks and everything like that. So I think it's going to take a while to narrow it down. I'm really surprised. I'm really like anxious to see who's going to win it all.
That was a weird... I had that. That was weird. Like, there was a swallow. I don't know where that noise came from. It's like
so we have the drinks to make it so we don't...
make noises, and now it seems like it's...
all the time, but now we got Stefan that's...
I can't help it, man. I don't know what's
bubbling.
going on here. Yeah, something. What did you give me? It's the Riptide Rush. That's what that was.
Yeah. So if I was to guess, and like based off everything, if I had to say one show that would win out of all shows, I bet Breaking Bad wins it all.
Do you think so? Did it win in one of your polls? I didn't actually look at all of them. I looked at some of them.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that are ahead. There have been some upsets. I'll wait till we get to that podcast where we go into it and we dive into it, not give anything away now. But
okay.
Anybody that's on our Twitter, Chit Chat That Pod, they can look and see the poll results. And I'll take pictures of the brackets every now and then. If I can find a really cool way to post a bracket, that'd be cool. Make a PDF of it or something.
Post a bracket? Oh, I guess you could. But then if you made a PDF, how are they going to vote on it?
Take an image of it. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I put most of the effort of like putting the bracket together and not displaying it on Twitter. But anyway, so yeah, I'm excited. But we're gonna get into some of our Twitter polls now. These ones are pretty random. First one is which reigns supreme, Jello or pudding? And 100% said pudding. I'm a pudding man.
Yeah, I don't know if we had a whole lot of votes on that one, but. Out of the votes.
But I think if we voted far and wide, pudding would win.
I think so too. I don't think that Jello has a chance. Yeah, pudding's just so much better.
Well, Jello makes pudding, right? So
what?
Isn't it Jello pudding? Like
that's a brand.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Jello, like the shaky, slightly transparent.
Is it gelatin versus pudding?
Pretty much, but flavored gelatin.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, we can bag on Jello at once, but it made pudding, and so either way, they go home a winner.
No, Jello made pudding.
Yeah.
But not Jello.
Yeah. But there's a lot of different ways to have Jello. Like, growing up, my dad would make one where he puts, like, whipped cream in it, and you, like, stir it up, and so it's almost like a yogurt.
Like I don't know what they call it. But yeah. That's pretty good.
So those are good. And then some people will put Jello seasoning into things. Like you can get a fruit salad. So my parents would have one that had like cottage cheese, marshmallows, pineapple, some cherries in it. And then you put like lime Jello seasoning in it. And it was pretty good. It sounds disgusting saying it out loud, but you'd have to eat it to see. But that was pretty good. And so I think there's a lot of things you can do with Jello that are really good. Nowhere close to what you can do with pudding. Pudding is the best.
Well, pudding's the best just because there's like you said, there's so many different things you can do, but then there's the flavors. Mm-hmm. Like pistachio pudding. You make that stuff, it's amazing.
See, we have a fruit dip where we take, I think it's white chocolate pudding mix, and you mix it with like whipped cream. And I think something else. But you mix that together really well. Cream cheese? It might be cream cheese.
Because cream cheese is amazing.
It is. But you like dip strawberries in it and pineapple and grapes. And
that already sounds like it could work really good.
And that's kind of
stuff.
All
right, we're quitting the podcast to go try this stuff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my wife makes it. Like in the summer, we do a lot of barbecues. And we usually will have a lot of fresh fruit. Because we like to grill pineapple.
That sounds good.
But we also like to cut up watermelon and strawberry and grapes. That's probably our biggest fruits that we do. Yeah.
If you ever go to Tucano's, that's where you get the fried or the barbecue kind of pineapple stuff.
We got the recipe. So you can get the recipe to anything at any restaurant on Pinterest.
Pinterest is where you found it?
Yeah, or you just Google it.
Pinterest, man, that stuff's of the devil.
Do you ever like think of when you were a kid and how you got by without like a cell phone or Google?
I never really think about it.
You don't? Like I think about it all the time. Like, kids nowadays have everything. They can Google stuff.
Well, that's why they're lazy.
You can know everything at any time.
Well,
but now I think the real thing that they're gonna have to be teaching, since you can like readily find information, is distorting good information from bad information.
Accurate, yeah,
like that's gonna have to be like a big skill set that's taught in school.
Oh yeah, I can already feel that with a lot of the stuff I've had to do in class.
Because I saw something on Twitter and I retweeted it on our account. But there was an article and it was talking about how with the technology we have with digital media and everything like that it's going to be really hard finding out fake images from real images and being able to, I don't know, fake news is going to be all over the place, even more than it is now.
Yeah, fake news is already like everywhere. Well, and think about all the shows that are based on factual things like Adam Ruins Everything and all the other different even podcasts that are out there that are like What You Need to Know and all these kind of things that are just where people are going through researching a topic or a subject and then turning it into, like you said, another media outlet. And Adam Ruins Everything was funny because they did the one where they ruined themselves. I don't know if you saw that. It was like,
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but it's funny because, I mean, even all these sources and people that are doing the research are still fallible and might get the wrong conclusion from the research they get.
Yeah, you get his team of people looking up articles and stuff like that. Like, everyone has their own things. Like, I wouldn't be able to read a certain study like I do like a drug study. Like in pharma school, we did a lot of drug studies. I know what to look for in drug studies. So I could really interpret those. But if I was looking at like a business analysis of different strategies in the economy or something, like I wouldn't be as good with that as I would be with that.
Well,
so I mean, if I was to make a show that I was like going over articles, even though I can read articles really well, I mean, I'd have
what
my
do
limits.
You glean from it? Yeah. What are you going to take? Because, well, there's just so much to get, and especially with like journals and history, that one's a hard one, I think, to decipher. Because the only thing I think you can truly get from a journal is the event. You have to try and somehow separate the event from the person's personal bias or feelings towards it. Because it's hard to say what anything was during the event because you weren't there. You only have their perspective, which, you know, is based on what they saw, which may have been right or wrong, you know.
Which I feel like is what the news does too. So like, they'll go and look and like people were going crazy, even though 5% of the people were going crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what everyone was focused on, was those 5% of people, whereas like the majority were civilized like and doing things the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's I think event and journalism in general is just difficult because trying to just write things down, like the event itself, like someone got hit by a car, instead of, you know, all these different things of why it happened and who's responsible, all this stuff. It's like they don't know that yet until they actually, you know, after the whole thing's done, then they can, you know, look at maybe a police report or something where they're trying to just write down the facts. And anyway,
and maybe that's a flaw to like capitalism. Like capitalism does a lot of good things, gives like motives and drives, you know, for bigger and better things. Like a lot of our technology comes from it, but at the same time, we're also persuaded to maybe alter your opinion because it'll make us money. So the news are going to report on things that get more viewers, and I don't know.
Well, and it messes with society's head because, you know, it's a lot easier to persuade someone if you make some kind of emotional tie to it. And a lot of the headlines, you know, crazy man does this. Like, was he crazy or did he just do something stupid? I don't know. Was it an accident?
Yeah.
It's like you don't know all these things, but to say crazy in there just, you know, makes you wonder like, oh my goodness, I want to read more about this. Why was he, you know, whether or not the event itself was interesting, you start getting caught up in the motives. And anyway,
what do you think about that with all the like the sexual harassment scandals and everything coming about? We're only seeing like one glimpse of what's going on. There's a lot of other person's character besides that thing. So maybe they're sucky people that way, but they do other good things.
Yeah.
Whereas I think every individual is that way. So you're kind of seeing that from the news. You see them with the one news story coming out from some random dude, and it's like, oh man, that guy's awful. But you also don't see all the other good things that they do. And
and
or maybe the opposite. You see only that one cool thing that they did, but they go home
their
and
life's
like
a mess,
beating up their dog, and you're like, oh, that's not very cool, dude.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to try and figure out and how to go about doing that without any kind of skew or bias. Because everyone seems to, you know, have their own, and then when the media itself that's presenting it already has one, that makes it worse.
Yeah, because the only way you could do it is having the viewers take charge, being like, we're not going to watch you guys. You guys are full of it all the time. But if that's constantly what we see, we lose that grip on reality of what's, you know, what's crap and what's real.
Well, and yeah, anyway, it gets messy and it gets really confusing, and that's where the term fake news comes from, because a lot of the headlines are opinions, and you can't take opinion as, fact. And that's where, I think people are trying to separate those two, where it's like, was this opinion or was this fact? Or, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we would have to have some news places like really take a stand and like with their integrity be like, we're only going to do this and we're not going to let fluff go through. We're not going to distort opinion too much. And then people are going to have to buy into it and give them lots of money. And so that other people catch on.
Well, and that's what's funny. I think it's going to go around full circle, because I think that's what journalism was for a while. Yeah. Where it was very much straightforward, just the fact this happened. It's like, that's what happened. We don't know all the details yet, but this is what's happened.
One marketing guy.
Yeah.
It's like, want me to double your money?
Yeah. It's like, this is what happened. But, soon, because right now everyone's going for the sensationalism of like these crazy headlines and these clickbait kind of things that are like, oh, what is that? And it has nothing to do with whatever the article is.
Those drive me nuts. I don't even click on stuff on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I've gotten really sick of them. But now it's going to be the flip. People who aren't doing clickbait are going to be more interesting because they'll be different.
Yeah.
It'll be like, hey, what is this? This is actually just what it says. Yeah, it'll have to go.
Revolves and
yeah, I'll be so happy when I see that happen too. It'll be so funny. I'll just be like, wow, I knew it would happen eventually. Can't hold that kind of a standard without people going, I want something new. I mean, that's kind of where they came up with this one in the first place. Because before, all of them were doing just what was happening. And then someone was like, hey, like you were saying, the one marketer, let's sensationalize it, and people
we had
click
a story
on
puppies and people loved it.
Yeah.
Let's just make more story puppies.
Yeah. Just put puppies in every article. There was a robbery and puppies were involved.
And I feel like everything I could say can be related to The Simpsons in some way. Like if you watch The Simpsons enough, like there's something that goes with it. But I remember when Santa's Little Helper became like I almost said Santa's Little Humper.
That's what I thought I heard. I was like, did he just say? But I'll just let him go.
He's a dog. I mean, that's probably not. Maybe better if it was like a rabbit, but
let's just be more rabbits.
But anyways, like the Duff guy's walking past, and Santa's Little Helper had his nose in a beer can, and he was like flipping it up and drinking the beer out of it. And he pulls out his camera, like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime photo. And the dog stops doing it. So he's like, once in a lifetime, and picks the bear up, puts it back on his nose, and then takes a picture.
That's how it works. I just do crazy, weird stuff.
All right, so pudding one. I think there's not too much to say. One of my favorite desserts, they call it dirt cake. But it's the stuff you get in, like, elementary school where you get a cup, and it has, like, Oreo crumbles and pudding, and then sometimes you can put whipped cream on the top, but you put like gummy worms in it. It's delicious.
Well, that's
Oreos.
Yeah,
and
Oreo.
pudding
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that stuff. I had a McFlurry not too long ago, and I had like the best perfect person to make it, because like they tried to stir it and it was like all I think they put extra of the crumb stuff, like of the Oreo stuff. It was like so much on the top. Like I was trying to get my spoon out and it was just like overflowing. I was like, oh my gosh.
I like it when they have too much Oreos.
Yeah, I was so happy with it. I was like,
which is funny because that's actually not too much Oreos. That's
just right.
Just the right amount of Oreos.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
More Oreos than they intended.
Yeah, they always have to have more Oreo if you want it to be good. And that was what was funny. It did turn out like the bottom like little bit didn't mix in, but I was like, I don't care because it was so much Oreo at the top. Like it stirred, but it was more than usual. Like most of the time, it's like you get little black specks in this vanilla ice cream, and then that's disappointing. But when it's like mostly this awesome mixed Oreo, it's good.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite flavor of Jell-O and pudding?
Jell-O, I really don't have a favorite flavor because I don't really eat Jell-O much.
I did quite a bit growing up, and like it was never Jigglers. It was just a big bowl, and on Sunday dinners we would dip the Jell-O because my parents really like Jell-O.
Dip so Jell-O?
Yeah, so there's a big bowl, and you just take the spoon and you flop it onto your plate. And then I remember like I'd put it in my mouth and I go, and I'd like swish it between my teeth because it was fun to do because it like turns into water pretty much in your mouth.
I guess it.
Watermelon is probably it's like the light pink one. Watermelon Jello is pretty good. But watermelon's my favorite fruit too. But it doesn't taste like real watermelon. It's candy watermelon flavor.
Candy watermelon, it's not too bad. I remember there was a big fad growing up. Like watermelon was the thing.
Fad. F-A-D. Yeah, go ahead.
What? Oh, did it sound like something?
It almost did. Yeah, I just wanted to.
Oh no, I didn't. I wouldn't say that. Doesn't make sense.
No, it made perfect sense. This is big fad growing up. I said fad there too with a D.
D and G just never mind. So, but yeah, everyone was going for the watermelon flavored stuff. Mm-hmm. Like everything, Jolly Ranchers, everything had to be the watermelon.
Yeah, red, pink, blue, purple are always safe bets when looking at candy colors.
Green pink was a big one. Yeah, I remember pink. What was pink anyway? Was that watermelon? Was Starburst or strawberry? I think it was watermelon. But everyone wanted the pink one.
Yeah,
because it had a good flavor. I like orange. Orange is pretty good.
See, orange is hit and miss. You could have a delicious orange thing. Like, I get those Fun Pops that come in the orange mesh. And that orange is delicious. They're like popsicles. They're like Otter Pops, but bigger. Like orange Skittles.
I don't
Orange Starburst.
What? Everything of Starburst is amazing. You know, there was a time where I didn't like the...
I'm Skittles over Starburst.
I think it was the cherry Starburst. Like the red, like the deep red one.
I'll be honest, I never looked at flavors of Starburst. Skittles I would, because on the back it like tells you.
Well, I used to not like the red one, but now
everyone likes red everything.
No, they don't. They like pink.
Okay, next time we eat Starburst, I'll take all the red ones. You can have all the cruddy orange ones.
I'll eat the orange. I'll eat all of them because Starburst is just amazing. Like I don't know what it is, but their commercial like is true. That's what happens. It like explodes flavor in my mouth, and I'm like, I want another one. That's one thing I can like eat forever.
That much anymore.
I can eat Starburst. I can't eat chocolate like candy bars and even like any chocolate stuff. I can have it. It's not bad.
I feel cruddy afterwards.
Yeah, but Starburst, I don't feel cruddy. Like I'll sit there and eat those for a long time, and it kind of scares me. My wife buys them every once in a while, and I'm like, "Don't buy these."
Yeah, that's how I am with Twizzler nibs. I can eat too much of those.
Yeah, I'm okay with Twizzler nibs. They're pretty good.
Twizzler everything. Twizzler makes good treats.
Licorice I hate Red Vines. Those are gross.
They're okay.
No, they're not.
My grandma used to always get them. She'd get the big bucket when I was little. And so I grew up with that, but they're nothing compared to Twizzler.
You can actually eat those? I could never eat a Red Vine. I tried them once.
I eat the black ones too.
Okay, now I don't know where you're going, but I can't eat red vines and I can't eat the black ones of even just regular licorice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if it's licorice, like
I would never pick it, but I'll eat it if it's there.
See, I can't even do that.
I'll pick chocolate or strawberry, cherry.
I tried to do that. Like growing up, I would be like, oh, well, you know, there's nothing else. I want something. I'll try it. I'm like, dang it. I might make it through the one, or if I don't, it's like, it's in the garbage. I can't. It's like, it's just something about it. I couldn't do it. And I don't like it, and it's just yeah. But yeah, the regular strawberry Twizzlers are good. The nibs, whatever those words. Yeah, those are good. I remember having those, and I could eat those. But anything outside of like the traditional, actually, I lied. Twizzlers Poland pills I could like. Those are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I remember I would used to get them. I would mow a lawn, and I'd have enough left over for a drink, and then a $2 bag of the Twizzler Poland pill. Because it was like $1.89, and after tax it was
some of their
perfect that it would be like $2 or like maybe a little over $2, and so I'd be like, I got $5, so I got one of these and then a drink and enough to fill my gas tank back up. But that's back when gas was cheap.
Yeah. Oh, you can do that now.
Yeah.
You have to raise the cost of mowing lawns.
I remember I'd get paid. Some lawns were like $2.50. And I'm not like that old. I was born in 88, so I'm 29 now. So this was in like the late 90s, early 2000s. This wasn't like forever ago. And I get $5 for some. 10 is like, yeah, I did the rich people's house. And there's always that one person that mows their lawn for $20. And you're like, psh. Your parents aren't teaching you anything. You're spoiled.
Yeah, you need to do this the right way.
And those are the kids that did drugs in high school.
Yeah, well, they had nothing else to do.
They had money to spare. Not me. I spent it all on Twizzler pull-em pills.
Hey,
and
but
then
you were better for it.
and then when I got to high school and got like a real job, the first job I got was $4.85 an hour because it was training wage.
Yeah.
Like minimum was $5.15. And then I went from like training to manager, so I went to $4.85 to $5.35. But I would work a ton.
Mm.
I still do that now. I work too much. But all my money there would go to McDonald's and the gas station because they had little chicken fillet things that were really good and egg rolls.
Egg rolls at
corn
McDonald's?
dogs. No, this is at like a gas station.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm still at the McDonald's.
But yeah, McDonald's, like, I remember one time being like, I wonder how many of those hash browns I could eat. And like, I just bought like 25 of them because money meant nothing to me. It meant something to me, but so did 25 hash browns. I made it to like
I thought
14,
you did the
15.
burgers.
I did that once.
Oh, that was a different time?
While influenced. Yeah. I was like, I'm really hungry. And so I went through the drive-thru walking and ordered like, it was a lot. I probably dropped $50 on hot and spicy McChickens and double cheeseburgers, but I ate a good portion of them. Like it wasn't in vain, but
this worth every penny.
This was not under any influence. I don't know who's gonna be watching this, but
yeah.
So I was high, yeah. But yeah, the little hash browns, which are delicious, those are so good. However, you get like 3 deep, they're no longer good.
On what? On the hash
those
browns?
little hash browns, yeah. I got to like 16, and by then they were cold.
Oh,
they were mushy because like the oil makes them nasty once they're not like crisp and fresh.
Once you get past the fresh point of certain foods, it's just over.
Mm-hmm. And usually I can like things stay in the fridge forever, and I'll still eat it. If it doesn't smell, like I'll still eat it. But hash browns aren't that way. Once you lose the crispness.
Yeah, you have to have like a deep fat fryer right there to like reheat it. Because you just can't do it anyway because it has to be crunchy.
Yeah, you need the grease to be a liquid and not a solid.
Oh, yeah. You know, I can eat cold pizza, though.
You know what's good that I just started doing? Cold hamburgers. So
really?
I'll get like a big hamburger from a place, and I'm getting old, so I don't finish it all, or else I feel nasty.
Really?
So I'll go to like JCW, and I actually just got one from Sonic the other day. I got a big double cheeseburger, and so I ate like all the onion rings and tater tots. And so I didn't have much room for a hamburger left over. So I ate half, put it in the fridge, and then the next day, this was actually for breakfast, I'm going to die at like 35 of a heart attack. So the next day I ate the other half of the hamburger, and it was cold. It was so good.
You know,
and I actually do that with JCW. I'll order 2 burgers
just so you can
keep one, and I'll put it in the fridge. Because like everything molds together, and when you take a bite, it's all
the
one.
flavors, yeah.
Like it's hard to explain. So when it's all like together, you take a bite and you're kind of chewing the bun, and then you're chewing the meat. But when it's cold, it's all together in one bite, and then I don't know, it just blends in really well. And
you know what's funny? I would do that with burgers for a while, and like my family growing up thought I was weird because you know if we had any leftovers, we'd stick them in the fridge. But I never because the microwave them made them just horrible.
Yeah, they get gross.
Yeah, I
most
couldn't
of them
do
have
it. I was
lettuce
like,
in it.
I'd
You
rather
don't want to microwave lettuce.
Right. It's like I'd rather just eat it cold. And actually, I didn't mind it. I'd prefer to eat it cold rather than nuke it and then hate the whole thing.
And sometimes I do that with pizza because sometimes when you renuke pizza, like you can't renuke fries. Fries are like hash browns. They're a one-time deal.
Yeah.
And if they get
the
cold,
fat fryer,
they're no longer good.
Yeah. I've tried toaster oven on those, but sometimes it's a hit or miss.
I'm not fancy. I've never had a toaster oven.
It's not fancy. Actually, I don't even have a microwave. Weird, huh? I have a toaster oven.
What?
That's because I started to realize like
homeless people have microwaves.
I know, isn't that weird? They're looking at me like, what's the matter with you,
It's
man?
so common that even people without homes.
Yeah, that's what happened. I was walking down the street the other day, and the homeless man's like, here, man, you need this more than I do. It's like...
It's like you're missing out.
Yeah.
How do you redo your food?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. We got rid of it because we tried a toaster oven, and things tasted so much better heated in that than they did in the microwave.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that was my reasoning. Like, that was the only reason I did it. My wife was on some other health kick. She'd read something about microwaves destroying the world. But I was like, you know what? I actually like the flavor better when it's just heated up with heat rather than microwaves. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, but it seemed like it worked pretty good. And I was like, I think it'd
be hard, though, because...
It is. Like, and it sometimes puts you off on even reheating stuff.
Your extra lasagna, because me and you both love lasagna.
Yes.
So you put that in like a plastic dish. Like, what do you put in the toaster? Like, can you put like regular plastic plates or
no? Well,
ceramic?
Some of them come with like a little tin, like a small sized.
You get them individual, but if you were to make homemade,
no, I'm not talking about homemade. I'm talking about the toaster oven. When you buy it, it comes with a little tin thing that you can stick in. So you stick it on the. It's like a cookie sheet kind of thing. Yeah, I know. Pretty nutsy, I'm telling you.
Wow. But
it works out. It worked pretty good. Like, I've been pretty happy with it for the most part.
Would tinfoil work?
You could, because it's not like a microwave, so it won't start sparking. It just heat it up. Oh, I want to try.
Well, I don't know.
I just want to try tinfoil dinner now. I could stick that in there like an oven.
I wanted to do a tinfoil dinner,
and those are good.
We did it in the oven, and
are they any good?
We're gonna have to look up the time you cook them, because everything on the bottom was burnt. And
everything on the top was raw.
Like, dang it. Like in the fire.
Yeah, it works great.
Every time. You can't mess it up. But in the oven, it's so much harder.
I don't know how it works, but yeah, tinfoil dinners are amazing.
Because I put ketchup on it. They have like potatoes and
hamburger. You can't lose with those. I haven't been able to lose with that. Anyway, so yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
Paper or plastic?
Well, it looks like we got 100% paper.
Yeah, and that was another low.
So which environmentalist person are you?
Well, I think that one vote we got on that was me.
Yeah.
No, there might have been more than one. Yeah, I voted paper for it. I think plastic is definitely like more convenient, but I think the environment and then like composting stuff like that, you can just shred or tear up some of the paper. And you can put it in your garden stuff, and it decomposes and gives nutrients to the soil.
That's a big question.
Easier to recycle.
Paper kills trees, and plastic kills turtles, or what does it kill? It kills something.
Yeah, and like plastic, I think.
Because plastic
somebody told me, and I don't know.
It doesn't decompose.
Like, it doesn't decompose, but I actually saw this article about they have this new bacteria that can like eat plastic.
I saw plastic eating caterpillars.
I saw that too.
I didn't read it. I just saw the headline, and that's about as far as I got. So I think
that'd be kind of cool if we have these landfills and we just
put a bunch of caterpillars and say
caterpillars and like bacteria, and we just
turns out it killed all the caterpillars.
They ended up eating each other. We shouldn't have put our whole supply.
I thought goats could eat like plastic. Does it kill them? Goats eat anything.
Yeah, it's because their stomach can.
I don't know what it is, but I just know they like eat rubber tires. Like, they make fun of them eating all sorts of junk. Can't. What's cellulose? Is that what plastic's made of?
No, plastic's different, like polymers. But
so they should try it with a goat. Just say, "Hey, goats, there's a landfill. Go at it.
Eat this tin can."
Yeah, that's right. Go get it.
The goat dies.
Then it's like, oh well, that was a bad idea.
Goats are actually pretty cool pets. Have you ever been to somebody's house?
Yeah.
Kylie has goats.
No, do they have horns? I had a friend
like the little ones because they're really
like
tiny.
the pygmy goats or whatever they are. Yeah,
and they just climb all over you.
Oh,
little kids start being mean to them.
They climb all over you.
They'd be like a little dog.
They've got like hard hoofs. Yeah, they're not like paws.
I'm not gonna say it feels good.
It's like they climb all over you. You make it sound like it's a great day.
The guy was just sitting there on like a bench. And the goat like climbs up on his lap, and then he kind of leans over, and they just start climbing onto him, and it stood on his head. It was cool looking. How big is
this goat?
They're small, so I would say
like 2 feet.
2 feet tall, and 2 feet long.
They must be even smaller than the ones that my friend had growing up. Because
they're probably a little bit longer. They're probably 2.5 feet.
Are they still growing, or?
Yeah, they're like baby goats.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because
not like full like.
Well, yeah, but there's
Mama
actually...
goat, and you're like, there's breaks your neck.
I think it's a pygmy. I don't know, but there are goats that even full grown aren't like super huge.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this one goat at my friend's house, he had the horns, and we were hanging around him and just wandering around. Anyway, all of a sudden, I feel this thing coming up from behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of getting between my legs, and I'm like, what the heck? And it was sitting there. It had pushed its head underneath and pushed its horns up between my legs, so like we're coming up between.
It's like, I want to give you a ride.
Yeah, no, it was just
hop on.
No, he was known for being just kind of a mean goat. Anyway, he was like I think he was trying to throw me over. Anyway, I quickly, as I felt, I was like, what the heck? And I moved real quick, and he just kind of stared at me like, what, you don't want me to take you down? I'm like, yeah, I saw you take down everything else over there. I'm not messing with you. Anyway,
so I like it when kids get karma. I took my daughter and my daughter's cousin, or actually my wife's cousin, so my daughter's second cousin. Doesn't matter. John, shut up. We went to look at these goats that Kylie had, and Berkeley was like, my daughter Berkeley was petting him, being all nice. And then her second cousin was being mean, and she hit one, and she turned around. The goat like does the backwards walk and then charges her and knocked her over. I laughed so hard because it wasn't hard. It was like a little goat, and she was a little person too. So like, but it was so funny. And I was like, don't be mean to the animal. Like sometimes they're going to fight back. Like I'm all good because nobody gets hurt or anything like that. But it's that instant karma.
Yeah.
I love that when that happens. You can go to YouTube and just like type in instant karma and see things like that happen where somebody's like, haha, they go to trip somebody and it makes them fall over or something like that.
Or they laugh at somebody for doing something dumb and then they do it too.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, and that's the end.
Or they make fun of somebody's laugh for long enough that they develop that laugh themselves. I've done that. So yeah, paper one, I can use it for composting.
I think that's a good.
I think it's harder to carry out though. Plastic bags are easy.
Actually, have you seen some of the newer ones where they have like paper handles on the paper bags?
I've seen those. Or
those
the cut
aren't
a
so
hole.
bad. I've never seen the hole.
So they have,
but I've seen like the little handles.
The hole, so you just like reach in and grab it. Kind of like a cardboard box. Sometimes they have the handles on the side, which is the oval holes. So they do the same
that
concept.
Stuff I think it works really well, and I think it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think paper is a good way to go, and I think they're just.
Do you ever use the reusable ones?
Oh no,
those would probably get pretty dirty.
I think they would get dirty, and I think it's just irritating to bring them in. Because what if you have to get more than you have bags? Then they just make you buy more of those stupid things. I mean, they're not bad, and I think it's probably the most environmentally friendly is just to reuse bags. Mm-hmm. But they're just so inconvenient.
Get that bacteria in those caterpillars.
That's a poll that we have for another time. I think it's still going.
Mm.
But anyway, it's not really worth. Because then you go to the store, it's like, oh crap, I forgot to bring those bags. I was on my way home from work, and unless you leave them in your car, it's like you're never gonna bring them with you.
I think a lot of these things like are good intentions, good thoughts, but
practicality is not.
Practicality and the actual delivery of the method is hard. Like recycling, I think a lot of people are into it. It's pretty. Yeah, I mean everyone gets the point, but sometimes it's not easy. You like open up a can of something, you dump it in, you're like, just throw this in the garbage. I don't want to rinse out the can. Because you also don't want to give dirty stuff to the recycling bin. They're like, we can't use this.
Really?
Man, who put like diapers in the recycling bin?
Oh, maybe I don't know how recycling works.
Well, I always thought you had to like rinse everything off so it was nice and clean.
I thought you just had to separate it all. Like, cans and plastics.
So you'd have like a can of SpaghettiOs and you throw it in and it has SpaghettiOs still kind of in it.
Well, don't they just melt it down, break it down, and
I have no idea how.
So you get this new can with a SpaghettiO cooked into the metal. I don't know. I never understood that. I was thinking with those reusable bags, if they really wanted to make it work, they would have all the bags next to the carts when you're getting your cart at the store. So you just grab your bags, like they just keep them. So then when you leave, and you have to put your cart away anyway, like you put the bags with it.
And I'm tackling that grandma in the parking lot. You stole my bags.
Yeah. So that way, yeah, they can just. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think people are going to, well, I mean, people do it, but I don't think it's going to catch on as much as they want. Yeah, I don't think it'll work. So that was the end of that one. And so we're on to oatmeal or cream of wheat.
So
what do you think?
I was thinking this, and I was like, who's going to vote for cream of wheat? Oatmeal.
I'm an oatmeal person.
I was thinking of cream of wheat and like what went into it.
Cream and wheat.
Like malto meal and those kind of things. Or grits. Like what? I don't even know what cream of wheat is.
It's like grits.
Okay.
But it's not grits.
Okay.
But it's very similar.
I've had grits before, and I was like,
I hate grits. My grandma,
not my thing.
May she rest in peace, would eat grits, and she bought them once, and I tried them once, and that was the last time I ever tried them. She's like, here's the grits. I'm like, oh boy, it looked like cream of wheat. So I was like, I remember how my mom would make cream of wheat. Mm-hmm. She'd make it pretty much like she'd make oatmeal, where it's like the butter, milk, and sugar kind of made. It's really awesome. Like it's sweet.
We make it not healthy.
Right. Well, when is it ever healthy? Anyway.
It's got like wheat, iron and vitamins in it.
And the milk is good for you. So anyway, I would eat that stuff. And it was so good, and it tasted so good. And so when I saw the grits, I was like, oh, this looks familiar. But she would do like salt and pepper and butter. And I'm like, what did you do to this? This is supposed to be sweet and enjoyable. This is now like eating a mush of salt and pepper.
You're a pig, or you're like livestock eating grits. I feel like this isn't human food.
Yeah, like, what am I doing?
This is animal food. My animals eat this. Like my food eats this food.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of grits when I tried. I was like, what's the point? What is the point? I might as well just go eat cream of wheat.
Would you do homemade or the instant packages of oatmeal? I would get the instant packages all the time, but I really prefer homemade. My grandma, every time I went to her house as a little kid, she knew that was my meal. So if she made everybody else something else for breakfast, I got my homemade oatmeal from her.
She would do homemade, so that's good.
So like you get your own, you just boil water, put the oats in, and then you put your own stuff in. But she put like cinnamon, brown sugar, and some milk.
See, I've been lately, I like brown sugar and actually using cream is amazing. If you ever do that,
I've never done
that stuff is amazing.
I only use that if like the recipe calls. I'm like, who keeps this stuff? And so I have to go buy cream.
I've actually been eating cream lately. It's amazing. It fixes everything. Like, seriously, you could put it in. Like, if you make something that doesn't taste too good, you put some cream in it. And it's like, hey, this is okay. This isn't so bad. Anyway, it was pretty good. But putting that in oatmeal was amazing. Like, I don't know why. But yeah, brown sugar and cream and butter. It's amazing. But... anyway, yeah, that's the only way to do it. But I would use the instant stuff. I use that.
They're just so much quicker. And then you get like
I like the flavors.
When I was a kid, I would have 3 packages.
Okay.
And I'd put them of the maple brown sugar. Uh-huh. And then when that ran out, because my parents would always get the assorted.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why are you doing that? We all want the brown sugar. It's gone.
You all want the brown sugar?
First meal.
We were gone with the strawberries and cream would be the first to go.
Yeah, that's why we need to get together again.
See, bananas and cream was the one that stood. That one stayed forever.
Yeah.
I didn't like bananas and cream. No one ate that one. But strawberries and cream was gone. Blueberries and cream was gone. I remember the maple and brown sugar would probably go before bananas and cream, but I think that was like the least.
Oh, really?
That one usually grabbed.
So we should just switch food all the time. We agree with like lasagna.
That's
Oreos,
true. Lasagna we would.
Yeah. It makes sense, but it's crazy. Like I don't know if the fruit in there is real fruit or not.
And where?
Like the little packages. Remember you get the
little instant oatmeal?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. Heck no, it's not.
Why it's just like flavoring chips or something?
Yeah.
Maybe it was like wood.
I've looked at those
delicious.
Things. It tastes great. I'm like, I'll eat it. But
like the strawberries and cream, that was probably my second favorite.
See, that's how it works. So you just find a food flavor and then put it on some random, some object that's like really cheap to get. From China, probably.
AKA popcorn.
Yeah.
You're just like, butter's good.
Yeah.
Let's put it on this like butter holder because that's all popcorn is. It's just
it doesn't have
a way
anything.
to shovel in that butter.
See, but with class and a little bit of salt to make it that much more interesting. It's like, that's all you got to do.
Get caramel into you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get those big metal tins for Christmas, which I haven't seen in a long time. I used to get them all as a kid. But
we used to get one all the time from my aunt. Then she stopped sending them. I think they've changed the size of them lately, though, because I saw them at Walmart just recently when I was in there.
They're smaller now?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Either they're smaller or I'm bigger.
Caramel would go very first,
Yep.
And then
that was always the first with us too.
And then I don't care about the rest
Yeah,
of them. Like,
I didn't even know what they were.
A little bit. Like the cheddar one was pretty good, but like
I would go back and forth between the cheddar and
I could never eat
regular.
enough popcorn to get it down to the bottom because they were huge. And I don't know if it's well, I haven't grown that much since I was a baby. Like I'm a little guy.
Okay, well you should go check out the ones at Walmart. See if they've filled the same size. Because to me they feel smaller than the ones.
Yeah, they were big drums. They were like 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah, when she would bring those, or she would just send them in the middle, like, whoa, thing is huge.
And I have a weird thing too. If you get a cool tin or container, like if I got those popcorn buckets, I would save them.
Oh, now?
Like I was like, imagine all the cool things you can put in there, even though it's just trash now. Like I'll get weird containers and I'd be like, oh, we can keep this, and we'll put bacon grease in it, like old spaghetti jar bottles.
I've actually
or like pickle bottles.
Bacon grease. My mom's been saving that lately, like, and cooking with it.
And cooking with
that stuff's freaking good if you know how to.
I feel like you couldn't cook everything with it.
No,
it'd be several things. Like
breakfast
if you wanted
foods
to,
are great. Like eggs, oh, it's amazing.
If you wanted to grease up the pan a little bit before eggs, like bacon would be really good with it. But if I was gonna make,
well, and I think most
saute some onions in it and do like
I would do saute like most
chili or something.
I'd say most meat and potato type dishes would work pretty good with that. Like
breakfast meat and potato, which is usually when you need to.
And
grease.
Veggies though, like veggies fried up with bacon grease, I think would give them a nice flavor. Because veggies on their own, I'm just I'm not one of those that just eats veggies without salt, pepper, sauce.
Yeah, we have to make
ranch, something, anything. I don't know why. Well,
I can eat broccoli, so I try not to put anything on my veggies. So see, broccoli, green beans. I can do carrots raw. I don't like cooking carrots. It makes them gross. They're mushy.
I would prefer carrots. If I ate them at all, I prefer them cooked because I ate carrots raw, and that's when I threw up. That's good. Actually,
was it from the deli? Was it on the floor?
No, actually, it was from the time I threw up with carrots was actually carrot juice, and that was that something bathhouse juice, whatever is it? What
bathhouse?
Is that what it is?
Oh no, you've been drinking bathhouse.
No, what is that? Do you know what it is? Like the juices over in the they have the different kind.
I drink.
You don't
water,
drink juice,
milk.
What does it matter? There's a bunch of like V8 type stuff. Anyway, it was like one of those.
V8's gross.
Why? I don't think
vegetable
it's
juice. Ugh.
I would prefer to.
They have the V8 smoothies, which are okay because they're the fruit.
I drank V8 juice once, and I didn't feel too bad because it felt like at least I'm drinking my veggies. I can't chew. I think most of my vegetable distaste is from the textures.
From V8s. They ruin vegetables for you. Like, these are just gross.
Maybe.
A tomato drink.
I don't drink it that often. You make it sound like... I didn't drink it like a regular...
I remember go to like friend's house and they'd have like the V8s and I'd be like, you guys are gross. They'd give me one and I'd drink it because when I get put into like peer pressure, I have to do it.
That was just the way you decided. It's like, if anyone asks me, I'm going to do it.
If I had a friend, I was at a friend's house and like we'd go around the dinner table. I just pass it along. But like, oh, hey, do you want some? I wouldn't be honest and say, no, I don't like tomatoes. I'd be like, yeah, I'll have some. And they'd pour on my plate just because I didn't want to like.
Would you eat it then? Or would you just leave it on your plate?
I'd eat it. I would be able to crush down anything because it was better than being rude to them.
Well, it's good on you. More power to you.
See, but if my wife makes something, I'm like, this is disgusting, honey.
Something, but actually, maybe you're more of the Japanese culture. They try and keep their feelings in public, but in private, that's when they let it all out.
I could see that. I don't have too many emotions. Anger.
You don't have many? Like, some people are a kaleidoscope.
I usually don't get...
You are just, you got like the primary colors.
Apathy. I got that, which is the lack of...
Apathy or empathy?
Apathy, so the lack of, and the empathy
Well, isn't there empathy and sympathy?
And sympathy. I got those.
Aren't those very similar?
Yeah.
I can't remember the difference between them. There's something that's different, but I don't know. Sympathy and empathy. And now you got apathy.
Yeah, which is the lack of none of them.
And we get some synergy.
If I do get emotion, it's usually anger. Not like joy or
That's what you feel
or
most of the time?
sadness or anything like that. It would just probably just be,
I'm more bitter.
the world is so stupid. That's usually what I think.
I feel that way, and then I get bitter about it. Which brings us to the sandwich favorite. What is your sandwich favorite? We did this poll during the National Sandwich Day with Subway.
So you did this poll because I would have picked different things that go into it.
Like tuna and chicken salad and a Philly steak and meatball.
Yep.
I would have chose those two, but I was thinking sandwich day. When you think of sandwiches, these are traditional sandwiches.
Sandwiches you make at home.
I know, but these are just it didn't say your national Subway sandwich.
Well, I know, but you're saying these are sandwiches you make at home.
Yeah.
I feel like tuna is probably more common than like a veggie.
Probably.
I'd probably switch that one.
I don't know. In today's society, there's a lot of veggie people.
John, it was just a poll. Yeah. Calm down.
No, I'm... Ooh. Anyway.
That was the chair.
It was the chair.
We have it on camera. Anyways, I saw this really funny.
That's how it works.
I was going through my DVR because I was trying to catch up, and SNL had they had a Halloween special, and they had a really funny sketch. The guy, I can't think of his name. He's on House. He's the main doctor on it.
I don't know his name,
British
but
dude.
Just House.
House from House. Yeah, he was on it, and they were doing like a ghost hunter thing, and so they're in this house looking for this spirit, and the house guy farts, and they're all like, "Did you hear that? It sounded like a moan." And the guy's like, "Oh, it was probably nothing, guys. Like, don't think about it." He's like, "Let's play it back. And they like play it, and then they play it in like slow motion. And the guy's like, "Guys, why do you care about this so much?" And the very end's like, "I just broke wind. That's all that happened." But they're like filming the TV show. I thought it was funny.
That's how most ghost hunts go.
They even go to like the infrared, and they're like, "What happened?" And it like zooms in, and you see like the gas release from them. They're like, "Oh, we have a lot of spirit over here," and it's a high sulfuric smell.
Spirits.
Yeah, there's a lot of like SNL has a lot of hit and misses.
That was a hit.
That was a hit for me. And any sketch Christopher Walken or Kevin Hart's in on SNL, I'm in.
They're pretty good. I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but
you should watch the Kevin Hart one.
Which
He's been on, I think, twice. His first one.
Was this the?
I think I probably showed
doing
you
like a commercial
for Dove chocolate.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Get you some Dove chocolate.
Yeah, I saw
like
that
that's
one.
a really good voice, and the other person's like this. Sit down in a warm bubble bath with my Dove chocolate. And then there's Kevin Hart, and he's like, sit down in a bubble bath with my chocolate. And they're trying to decide between the two people. It's
they
really funny.
they're like, he's doing a great job.
I do a really bad Kevin Hart impersonation, but then he also has this opening monologue where he talks about like a homeless guy touching his lip. And he's like, that's worse than like the outbreak monkey or something like that, because they touched his lip.
Monkey? What's the outbreak monkey?
So like a monkey that they're testing all these things on that has tons of diseases. That's what I think of.
Oh. Okay. Well, if that's how it is, I'm not sure about
But anyways, I don't know how we did that from sandwiches.
Yeah, back to the sandwiches.
I worked at a Hoagie Yogi, which is like a Subway for those that don't know. Hoagie Yogi is kind of dying out and it's kind of sad. But I worked at one of their, that's how I met my wife.
We're running out of battery, so.
Oh.
On the actual recorder. But
how much time do you think we have left?
Probably seconds left. It says that we have no more bars on the battery.
Anyways, I got addicted to Hoagie Yogi sandwiches, and they're really, really good, and I had a lot of favorites. Chicken salad is probably my favorite salad. But when I go to Subway, they don't have really good chicken salad, so I try to get meatball.
Roast beef, ham, or turkey, video. That's what we got.
It was roast beef, ham, turkey. Turkey won, and it won by about double.
You know what's funny? My wife actually chose turkey too, and it was pretty crazy because I didn't think
had a smoky
I was more
turkey.
of a roast beef. I thought roast beef would have won out because as a kid, I loved roast beef. That was the best one.
And you can do like French dips. I like French dips, and that's when I'll do roast beef. I usually don't have roast beef bites.
That is so rude to say that about the French. Don't call them dips.
And then if I usually do roast beef, it'll be a club. Like I'll put ham and turkey on it as well.
Yeah, That's what I would do. So
I'm
here's
all
what
bummed I researched daylight savings and we don't have enough battery.
No, don't worry about it. No, because we got this. Here's what we're gonna do.
Just go with the video?
No, what we're gonna do is this. So, that was the polls we got to right now. So thanks for listening to this episode of Chit Chat That with Stefan
and John,
and we will be back to finish off these polls. Until then, hope you have a wonderful day and or night or whenever you listen to this. Maybe you're listening to go to bed. I don't know.
Follow us,
but follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and follow our polls so we can
and probably YouTube
get some
too.
Yeah, we'll be on YouTube. That's right. Follow us on YouTube, and we'll keep you informed with the latest chit chat and that stuff.
Chit chat that.